I want people to be free in their minds and be free in their imagination. My name is Anyuta Gusakova, and I'm a multimedia artist and work with different mediums. Like the visuals, they come to me. Sometimes like these creatures or characters, right? I see them in my inner vision, and sometimes like say they look a certain way, and mediums that I got used to work with. I cannot like make this creature alive, so I have to devise some new medium, right? Or I have to find one, even if I don't know how to work with it. I have to learn, because it's the only way this character can be like realized. It's not an intellectual decision, it just happens to. I follow these visions, and whatever they dictate me, like what medium to choose, or even come up with a new medium, that's what I have to do. Well, I just finished a little painting. When I finished it, I just realized, oh, I clearly see the influences from my early childhood, right? There were this Russian fairy tale book, and it was illustrated by some Russian artists of like 19th century, and it was like early 20th century, and it was like in Art Nouveau style. And now I can see like it looks different, it's contemporary, it's mine, but I can like clearly see this kind of, you know, connection. So that was very interesting, and I really loved that. So far, like I have some characters of my own that keep coming, and they develop their own themes and their own stories, and all this characters thing like started with the Minotaur, which comes from Mediterranean mythology. But then Miss Bunny came into life with the help of the Minotaur. I needed some sort of female partner, and so that's Miss Bunny is a female character, which like signifies the gentle like female nature. So I have like many artworks where this bunny tells different stories. Then it's the princesses and their pets, and they were kind of, and they drew princesses, all different sorts of them. And I remember even other girls asked me to draw a princess for them. But then like as I grew up, they just stayed in my childhood. And then recently, maybe like just a few months ago, they like suddenly knocked on my door, and I'm like, oh, princesses are back. I'm like, but they changed. They got more abstracted and more ornamental and less figurative. And they get different pets, like all fantastic animals, and all those fantastic horses. And I think they give me the chance now to dream, like to create different worlds, to go and experiment, and not to be limited. It gives me the ultimate freedom to my imagination. I can imagine anything. I can bring to life like animals that never existed. Well, the culture crawl is coming up. This is the very important and big event in less than a month. And that's what I prepare my show Princesses and Horses for. I really want to transform this studio into this magic kingdom. So it looks and feels like some different world, not belonging to our real world, but the world of imagination and fantasies. And it's a place of childhood, I would say. Well, when I was a kid, I remember I was dreaming about magic horse that would take me to school by air and back, because the way to school was too long and difficult and like really hard and exhausting. So I was dreaming like of this horsey. So now like I am free to make my own horses and other pets. I want people to be free in their minds and be free in their imagination. Like delete the boundaries between your imagination and your real life. When you dream, you expand yourself. And then don't stop doing that when you grow up. I've always loved to do people's like sculptural portraits, like sculptural heads or busts. Our art school in Moscow, like my professors loved me because I could recreate the image of a person very close to life, and I enjoyed it. But at some point of time, it became less and less satisfactory. I felt like something is missing. It looks like realistic portraiture, but it's not really mine, and my imagination like was there, but you're not using it. So it was kind of like, give me something. I want to be part of this work. So my next project is to create a series of portraits from real people where they're all recognizable. There's a realistic features, so you can see who was the model. But then to let my imagination go and create like something like not real, something that is completely transformed it into something not from real world. So combine these two worlds, the real world and the world of imagination, and again make a harmonious piece from two different worlds. So that's an exciting exciting project. Just saw this teddy bear, this like soft and nice toy, but in a more contemporary molecular shape. Like I call it, it's a molecule of teddy barium, like atoms in a molecule. So it's an abstract piece, abstract sculpture, but at the same time, you clearly see the visual of a toy bear. You look at something which is a piece of art, but it makes you feel like you're a kid again, right? You can play with it. I have a series now which is called Bears Around the World. Like I have Mishka, the Russian mole bear, which I painted. It's like big molecular bear, but I painted in a folk Russian style. So it becomes like a big Russian folk toy, like a souvenir from Russia. And I also have one with Asian dragon. So, and it's just the beginning. So I want to play with them as long as I get inspired by different places and different cultures. They're now on display at Vancouver International Airport. So they're sitting there, the Russian one and the dragon one. They're sitting in a beautiful glass case and are inviting newcomers to Vancouver. And it's very interesting because I remember when I came like 8 years ago, not knowing anybody. Now they're there. So I feel accepted, and I feel that they are now so much the part of Vancouver and part of Canada and of this place that they can now invite people, right, and meet and greet people. I have a website where you can see some of my work, which is anyutastudio.com. You can come to my studio, so you can arrange through the website. You can arrange a studio visit if you want to come and see the real work. I also publish on my website if I have any shows and upcoming events, so you can know what's coming and where it's gonna be. I'm on Instagram as Anyuta Gusakova. I'm on Twitter, which I don't use a lot, but still. I'm on Twitter as Anyuta Gusakova and on Facebook. You can follow, see what's going on, and many things that don't get on Facebook, but I share them. I share the process on Instagram and on Facebook, so you can see how things are being created, what's new. So yeah, it's up to date. I'm very excited since it's not long time ago that I finally found my own voice and my own visual language. So now I'm very excited to try different themes and different characters, but speak in my own voice. So I want to share more these little discoveries of mine, these different imaginary kingdoms and worlds and magic things, right? I want to share more. So I'm very excited about sharing and having feedback, because the more I share, the more feedback I get. That expands me as an artist. I think I'm ready now to be greatly influenced by the world, because for many years since the childhood I was more secluded. I was kind of separated and hid the world of my imagination, right, from the outer world. So it was more opposed to each other. But now I feel no. Now it's not that the world influences me. Now I can influence the world. It's the energy change, the direction, right? Now it's I found the happiness, I found the recipe, I found this wonderful spot inside. So now I want to share, and maybe somebody will have a chance to get more happier. So now it's kind of me going out, and now I'm not as vulnerable as a little child anymore. I like to think that I have this energy of a child, but I'm now confident. I know how to protect it. So that's what I want to come out with, right? And offer something to other people. You become more than what you are with your imagination, and you can reach for greater things if you imagine them first. I think all greatest achievements in mankind were just first dreams, and probably nobody would believe it was possible, right? But just people kept dreaming, and then they made them true. Never stop dreaming. It's an outlet for human energy. That's what imagination is, I think. So I find that as I grow up, I get more and more like a kid. So I'm maturing, but I don't become boring, and I don't set boundaries for myself, right? And I don't want people to set boundaries for themselves, right? Because it's all in our head. So I just want to just dream, right? Dream, and that will make you happy.